Hi there. Welcome back, everybody, to Sending Ravens. How's everybody doing? I got my ritual porcupine quill earrings on. When you have big magic work to do, you got to wear your ritual pieces, right? And I have lots of ritual pieces, but today I'm wearing this beautiful medicine bag and these porcupine quill earrings. And they were from a viewer who sent them to me, who knows that I'm also an Indigenous person. At least that's part of my heritage, and I'm very proud of it. And this beautiful necklace, it's now my new ritual piece that I just received today in a parcel with another gift in the parcel. And I so needed that. When I opened it, it was when I was feeling so low, like right after, you know what happened. We're not going to even say that word, okay, that happened, that facade, we hope, that happened. We're not even going to say that because, you know, the first thing I want to say right away is everybody tonight, if you can, if you're feeling stressed or sad or all those feelings that we're allowed to have, but we don't want to stay in them too long. And I'll tell you why. You need to go watch Michael Jaco's one of his latest videos. It wasn't the latest, but it was one of the latest, and it was with Juan O'Savin, and the one where everybody was mad because Juan O'Savin lays it out very clearly that the Biden team will be inaugurated. And he says exactly how that's okay and it needs to happen. And I've never heard actually a better speaker. Like what he says there, because once you hear that, when you first heard it, and it's before the thing happened, everybody just shut down. I did. I just shut it off. I'm like, I'm not going to hear that because it's negative. And no, he was telling exactly, he was giving us a heads up. And he was absolutely brilliant. If you listen to the whole thing that he lays out, it is the most brilliant speaking. Like, I'd love to meet that guy in person because what a speaker and what a storyteller and what a truth teller. I was thrilled when I listened to it the second time today. It lifted my spirit so high, and I'm absolutely, I got my war paint on. That's up, what's up with, some people mention, okay, why the big red lipstick? You know, think of it as an energy boost and war paint. Think of it that way. And some people like it, of course. I get mixed reviews on it. But today, I literally put it on as an intentional thing. And I'm wearing red intentionally because I'm holding the line. And once I re-listened to that, Juan O'Savin laying it out for me, you need to go listen to that. I put it in my community page, the link, in both my community pages. And you have to look above the videos. There's these words on everybody's front page of their YouTube channel. Okay, just look above and find the word community and click on it. Okay, that's the community page of any YouTuber, and they'll often post things there, and sometimes personal stories and pictures and like that. So things they want to share. So it's safer to share there, so I did. So I've shared it on both my pages, Tarot by Janine and Sending Ravens with Tarot by Janine. So go watch it again. Do yourself a favor and watch it again. You're going to feel a lot better, okay? You'll be putting your war paint on. So, of course, it was hard. It was hard to watch, literally, you know, it's like there's two timelines going on. It's like there's, you know, this false narrative timeline. And of course, a lot of people think everybody who's still saying, you know, Trump's going to win this is definitely, they're saying we're on the false timeline. You know, so there's these two timelines, these two visions, these two, maybe 3D, 5D, I don't know what names to call it, but there's definitely two ways of looking at the whole thing. Okay. And it's so important right now to stay where exactly you want to be. Does your future want to be, you know, dictated to you by the likes of the Biden team? And you know what I'm talking about there, like the deep state, the dark agendas, the incredible corruption. Like, do you want that to carry on, or do you literally want to take the fork in the road and go the good path? And there's what Juan reminds us of is that there are so many more of us. 80% of Americans and a lot of the world jumped on board too, not just Americans. We're rooting for Trump, so we don't need to just give up. It's not time to give up. And what Juan said was, everybody in the art of war, there comes a time when you need to, decide, what battles to fight. And sometimes you need to step back. And how did he say it? Take the high ground and let them take the low ground. So everybody's positioning, and there's so much less of them. And if you let them think they won, that's what's going to win this, apparently. And everybody's just got to stay focused, stay joyful, find something joyful to do. What I kept getting today, so I was on Prime Minister today, and I looked at it and I got the judgment card still to come. So there's huge things to come. That's like a great big shift in the situation. I got the Wheel of Fortune. I got right now where it sits was the High Priestess. Now the High Priestess is watch for subtleties. There's secret things going on, but they're going to be really subtle. And all day today, people were sending me subtle things to notice about the actual ritual that, we're going to call the fake inauguration. There were all kinds of subtle, really interesting things, including 17 flags. Interesting. The 17th letter of the alphabet, 17. Why were there 17 flags? There was also all kinds of really strange things. For instance, it looked like the whole thing was done virtually, and I know they were saying it was going to, but they just at a glance, you thought they were actually standing out there in the wind, but people were showing clips of it and it had been edited. So it wasn't like a streaming live thing. So it could have been done virtually. Absolutely could have. The whole thing could have been. But they did, at a glance, a pretty good job of making it kind of look real. Did anybody think that last guy that got up and sang, what was his name, that country and western guy, didn't even look remotely like himself? And people were saying, well, Lady Gaga looked just like herself. Well, you know what? She had so much makeup on that, and so much costume. Do you know what I mean? They could have taken anybody with her figure and general bone structure and made her look like Lady Gaga, And also her voice was cracking. I mean, maybe she's really lost control of her voice, or she doesn't have the equipment. Who knows? When she was doing that, maybe she didn't have it at her disposal, which is odd, because there she is singing the national anthem, and there was really, really, truly the worst singing job I've ever heard. And you can throw J-Lo in there. We always knew J-Lo was a bad singer, but it's like, okay, how did those people even get that famous? Lady Gaga, what's she famous for? Ridiculous suits and outfits and wearing meat on her body, signaling satanically. Wow, that's what we're giving people credit for these days. Yeah, it pretty interesting. And another thing, when you look at the whole crew that was there, including, and they kept shooting, putting the camera on Hunter Biden and his family, and I thought that was really interesting. There he was holding on to a child, okay, and apparently his child, okay, supposedly. But think about it. We know what he does with children. We've seen it on the videos that came out on the Hunter Biden laptop. So it's like, we don't want to see that guy, and we don't want to see him holding children. Like, it's horrifying. So my take on that was, here they're shooting, spanning the camera over almost everybody that we're absolutely sure is in the dark cult deep state. Okay, so isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So why, if that was really Biden's team that created that, inauguration or whatever, and was in charge of the people with the cameras, why would they keep, actually pointing the camera at Hunter Biden, for instance, when the kind of dirt that's out on him? Wouldn't they absolutely avoid that? Like, really? If they were smart, like social media people and media people, wouldn't they absolutely avoid that? Because there's millions of people all over the world that have seen those videos of Hunter Biden, smoking his crack pipe with a small child in bed with him, or whatever. All kinds of heinous things and that's just the mild stuff That's just the mild stuff. It's just horrifying what's on that laptop. Why would they even point the camera his way? So my take was the whole thing was just a big display to show you exactly who you're letting in, or the world. Somehow we've let this get to this. It's kind of, this is what Juan O'Savin was saying. You know, we somehow kind of slipped up in a way. We just let these people get to these places. We gave them power in a way, not personally, individually, literally, but somehow they all got into the places they're in. And we have to see it so clearly for ourselves before we're going to be okay with them getting thrown in Guantanamo and things, you know, like possibly facing firing squads, etc. Right? So it had to get this bad. This is like the dark night of the soul for humans. But it's not a time to stop holding the line and throw up your hands and agree to being an enslaved race. It's not a time for that. It's a time to absolutely say, absolutely no. Absolutely we won't. And stay there energetically. So whatever has to be done and is going to be done and is already in play can finish itself off, right? And like he said, it might take another 45 days. And it's like, oh, this time I'm going to listen to him. I'm going to listen to him this time and go, okay, we might be in for that. Okay. So in the meantime, we're going to find some fun things to read about. We're going to dabble around back into things that you haven't heard from me for a long time. We're not going to just keep it light all the time, but we're going to lighten it up, and we're not only going to focus on this on both channels. I'm going to do it that way. Okay. We're going to do it like that. Right. And then every once in a while, when there's a real situation, and I'm thinking the next big situation we're going to spot, if it hasn't already happened, because it might have in the background with that high priestess, there's stuff going on we do not know about, people. But there's going to be a situation I got on Friday that's going to be a big, you know, where we get a big wake up to the good for us. And so, you know, there'll be those along the way. Of course there is. It's not all going to be in private. Oh, and one more thing, Ashley reminded me that just today, Mercury went retrograde. So Biden got inaugurated on a retrograde, and the whole election happened on several retrogrades. Okay, so if you're an astrologer, you know that anything that happens on a retrograde always has this sneaky way of flipping around as soon as the retrograde's over, which is about, 14 days from now. So yeah, there's that. That part was like icing on the cake when I heard that. It's a retrograde. Why would anyone get inaugurated on a retrograde if they knew anything about astrology, and or even have an election on a retrograde? That's a riot. When, like, so many planets were in retrograde on the day of the election. So everything that appears to be in retrogrades does a little flipsy. Yeah, so there's that. Okay, so let's just relax, right? We're not saying you know, that the way Trump's coming back is not going to be normal, and we've got that all along. He's not going to you know, get inaugurated and be called the 45th or whatever number he would be. It's going back to a more unique and original version of these United States. And that was another thing I noticed. Did you guys notice that who was that? That was a judge that got up and spoke? I think it was just after Biden was actually sworn in, something like that. I can't remember exactly, but he actually said the words, these United States. He didn't say the United States of America. So I thought that was interesting. There was a lot of hidden, interesting things. You know, Prime Minister was pointing out the way they were talking. It was like they were actually talking on behalf of, you know, the new republic sort of, and not really the old way. So there was a lot of hidden stuff going on there. So let's have a look at just where do we sit and how do we get through, you know, if it's going to be 45 days, oh my goodness, then it is, right? So how do we get through this next little while? Let's just do that. And then I'll let you go. I'll let you go and watch that video that Juan O'Savin speaks on, Michael Jacobs. Yeah. That's a must see because I felt so much better and I listened really carefully. Listen really carefully to what his words are because he literally says everything that needs to be said. There's nothing more to say. He said it. It was brilliant. Okay, so... we've got this Eight of Pentacles again. So the Eight of Pentacles, things are working themselves out and we're 80% somewhere when you get that card. Now I was thinking we were already in the 11th hour, but if this is the 11th hour, it's going to last a long time. It's going to be the longest 11th hour ever. Okay, so here we've got the Knight of Cups and the Seven of Wands, the Knight of Cups. So it's a very unique situation. And the actual, okay, that explains it to me. Who we think is actually in charge is not in charge. Of course, a lot of us believe it's the military. I think it is and has been the military for quite a while. So I believe the military's in charge. And they still answer to Trump, even though that seems ludicrous. That's what's going on. And Juan really explains it really well. So, but here we've got the Knight. So it looks like it's a very unique situation and not what you think. Not what you think. And here we've got the Lovers in the middle. And the reason for how they're playing things out is, and we got this on the Prime Minister show as well, the Lovers, which is they want everything to be, that's a peaceful, balanced card. Okay, that's about peace and balance. They're just trying to, and there's a bit of a facade energy to it because there's a fickleness to it, so it could change any minute, right? The Lovers card, it's a funny card. A lot of people think it's such a great card, but it's actually not so great, especially if you got it if you were looking at your love life, because it often means somebody's got eyes for other people, or you know, they're always looking around, or you're going to be feeling like you're restless in your relationship. Like it's more about choices. It's not really about, it's more fickle, right? It's not a true love card. It's more in love with the idea of being in love, that sort of thing, and sort of looking around at what your prospects are. So it's not the greatest card to get if you're in a long-term relationship, right? It's not the card you want unless you're in a relationship where you like to share each other with other people. So with the Lovers in the middle there, because we're not talking about a relationship, it's more of a balance and harmony card. But there is that fickleness to it. So at any moment, this could change. But right now, they just want things to be balanced. So I guess they wanted to think about it. They want, what is the mainstream media been saying about the Trump supporters? No incidents has happened, you know, that we heard or saw. It seemed like DC was like a ghost town, other than, well, we don't even know if they did that virtual thing. Was that even in DC? We don't know, right? We don't know where it was. But, you know, really, it could, none of those people could have even been there for all we know, right? It's a virtual ghost town full of army people, and a lot of them might have left already. So they were trying to keep everything really civil. So on Trump's way out, and his family all left, and they were trying to make it look like, okay, all of that stuff's wrong about him. And it has been wrong about him. Okay, so I think they wanted to leave it like that. So they hyped up this big need for security, and then nothing happened. Do you know what I mean? They might try to make something up. By the time this video comes out, something might have come out that, ooh, they found some bomb that didn't go off or something. Do you know what I mean? That's what they did last time too. You can be sure no Trump supporter planted any bombs. With that many military, nobody was planting any bombs unless it was them themselves. Okay, so we've got this Ace of Cups. So the next thing that happens, the Ace of Cups. So a creative, they're going to have a very creative solution. There's something very unique and creative is going. The whole government is going to change. This is a unique change, and this is a very creative card. There's something coming that's going to be totally unique. The whole way the United States government is, I have a feeling has already changed, or it's 80% been changed over to a new system, and the whole inauguration will be null and void because of that. That's literally what that feels like. Yeah, and so we need to remember that. We need to remember that and be patient. Just be patient. Okay, we've got that Queen of Pentacles. She manifests. So this is what we need to do daily here. She sits and knows what she needs will come to her. So it's about, you need to really self-love to get this to work. Okay, so everybody's going to have to work on their self-love, and we should all be working on that anyway. Feeling worthy as a race, as a human race, and as a person individually, of being able to not be an enslaved race and create a life that, as long as you're not purposely harming others with your lifestyle, you get to live it. Okay, that's really what everybody wants. They just want to have a peaceful life, or the life they created. Maybe some people don't necessarily like peace. Maybe they like a lot of drama. But as long as you're not purposely hurting others with your lifestyle, so using and abusing others to create that lifestyle, which we know the dark cult does, the deep state does, we know that. If you're doing it just peacefully, living your own way, and or at least not including others in your drama and harming others with it, right, then you deserve and you are worthy of that kind of life. You are worthy. Okay, you're worthy. Remember that. And you want independence and individuality, which, trust me, this Biden group is not going to be given anybody. Okay, they're not giving anybody that. That's not what they're here to do. They're here to take away individuality. That's why all the mainstream medias are censoring anybody who doesn't think like them. You know, that's all you need to know about that bunch. Censoring anybody who doesn't think like them sounds like we're already in communist China regime. That's what it sounds like. Okay, so these cards are saying just stay focused on having that individual and free life, you know, as long as you're not purposely harming others. I mean, that's obvious, right? And trust that you will receive it, because that's what she does. She trusts. So daily have a mantra that visualizes that life and trust that you are worthy of it and you will receive it. That's what the universe wants to tell you. And in the background, you are protected. The army or the military, I don't know what I should be calling it, army or military, so I'll just say military, actually is in control of these United States. So that's interesting. And a lot of things are happening in other countries, by the way, that our mainstream media here in North America are barely talking about. So people are writing to me about what's happening in their countries, and it's wild. Things are crumbling all over governments are crumbling all over the place. And here we've got the Three of Cups. And don't forget to celebrate. So every day, so the more we stay in an energy that we want to visualize for our life, so celebration, love, finding something to be joyful about, the more we attract that. So we'll vibrate that into our reality, okay? Because the more you stay in fear and depression and hopelessness, okay, that's just exactly what you're going to create. So remember to vibrate daily. Take a little time every day to remember something joyful. Look at something that makes you happy. That's why I look at my tree every day. I look at nature. You know, I look at my son, right? So even though he's kind of rubbing it in right now, he loves me, and I look at him. And I just try to be around things that make you happy and notice them and be thankful. That's what we got to do. We're going to be okay. Like Juan O'Sabin says, we're going to be okay as long as we truly, this is our time to step up and hold the line. And holding the line just means don't fall apart and start talking smack about the whole thing. Just throw it all out because it didn't work exactly how you thought it would. You know, it's okay, right? It takes time to recreate your whole world, and we're still doing it. And notice how many things are being, so many things are being unbelievably brought out into the open. Like so many things. Like, do you think people will just forget what they've been reading about the Biden family? What they've been reading about these various different people? what Lynn Wood was saying about various different people and with details. Do you think we're going to just forget that? No, we're not going to just forget that. Those guys' time is coming. And yeah, stay with that. Thank you so much for watching my video. And do like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already.